Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Here in Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
Shalom, Most High in Christ blessed. This is Captain Ezra.
And this is Officer Asaph.
And we're here to do another 15 minutes with the captains, and we're going to still be in the series called Fringe Check. And this particular fringe check is going to be on teaching your children. So the fringes that are on your clothes, you have one that represents teaching your children. That's a law. We have to teach our children. We have to raise them up in the understanding of these laws, statutes, and commandments, how to walk in the faith of Jesus Christ. We have to build them up in that, and that's a law. And we have a fringe that represents that. So this is another thing, as a reminder. We should be able to be reminded to do that thing. Because sometimes, life can catch up with you throughout your day. You're working hard, you got all these things going on. You might not feel like coming home and sitting down and going over the scriptures with your kids after you work 12, 13 hours. Hour and a half drive home, or however long it is for you. Like, it's a long day. But guess what? You have to do that thing. So let's get into this. Let's start Numbers 15:38.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring.
So these fringes are supposed to keep us in the remembrance of the scriptures, in the remembrance of the laws, but also to make sure that we don't go after our own eyes and our own thought, because that's what happens a lot of times. We think our own thought, and that's what we go with. Like, this is what seems right to me. And so that's what people will go with versus saying, wait a minute, what's right to the Most High? And then let me go with that. So these scriptures and the fringes in particular are to keep us from that type of thinking, and to get us to thinking the way we should be thinking, which is the Most High first. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and 4. Let's see what we can do with this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So we're supposed to teach our children the commandments at all times. That's what it says when you walk in the way. That could be while you're walking into the grocery store. You could be pointing out things like, listen, look right there. You see those people right there? You see that woman over there, daughter? See how she's wearing pants and we're not? Because we're following Deuteronomy chapter 22 and 5. And that was a teaching moment. Or you see anything else? Oh, look at that person. They stealing. They're breaking Exodus 20 and 15. Like, look right there. Look, see? And y'all see it unless y'all some of the ones doing it. Walking through the grocery store, eating grapes. Like they free. Look, they be doing that thing, going through there, getting a whole handful of peanuts, cracking them and eating them as they shopping.
Right.
See, this is stealing, son, and then eating the peanuts. But we're not supposed to do that thing. But there's ample opportunities for us to teach. We don't have to just wait and sit down at the dining room table with the scriptures. You can be teaching throughout your day, teaching your children. So, drop down. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 11.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11 and verse 19. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, and the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth.
So now we did another fringe check where we was talking about how the children have to honor their parents, and the promise that came with that is to have your days long upon the earth, or in the land. And this is the same thing. So how are their days are going to be long in the land? Because you had to teach them how to follow the laws. So it goes hand in hand. You teach them how to follow the laws, and guess what? Now they can honor you. So these things work together in concert. So we have to be able to do these things for our children. Proverbs 22 and 6. And this is, it's a learning process. We come from the world. We didn't do these things. A lot of times you have parents, they put you in front of TV, get you a video game, and they don't speak to you the whole day until to tell you to get up and do something. And that was raising kids back in the day. They didn't sit down and actually walk you through how to do this and how to live your life according to God. No, so it's a new thing. We all have to be taught again. We have to learn all over from scratch how to live as godly people. Come on.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So, just like anything else, if you teach your child English, the language English, you taught him English, guess what? That child is not going to all of a sudden jump up and start speaking Chinese out of nowhere. You've been speaking to him in English his whole life, and then all of a sudden he walking in with some Chinese. I don't know any Chinese to speak.
French.
Ching tang. No, that's not going to happen. He's going to keep speaking English because that's the way you trained him up. Same thing for the laws. If you train that kid up in the laws, that's what they're going to know. That's what they're going to apply when they walk out the door. You don't have to worry about them in the midst of foolishness. Why? Because you trained them up. That's all they know is that, listen, this is how I live. When they see a woman walking with pants, they're not thinking, ooh, that looks good. They're saying that's evil. Because I've been told that was evil my whole life. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. So it's how do we train that child up? Just like if you train a child like you have parents and they put their children in the sports activities of the child, what do they end up growing up to do? Play sports. Because they've been trained in that. So the product that child becomes, they're going to be a product of what you put into them. So what are you training them to be? Let's go to Sirach 30 and 3.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. So
when you teach your child, you grieve the enemy. Why? Because they hate it when they see us keeping the laws. And they see that being raised, they see generational law-abiding people coming through generationally. No, they hate that thing. You grieve him when you do that. If you want to, and people want to get back at Esau, they want to get back at the other nations, this is the best way to do it. Teach your child. So when your child walks in and that child is walking holy, and they looking, that was the worst thing you could have did to them right there. Not fighting them, not, giving them the finger and calling them names. No. Just teach your child. That's it. So, let's go to Revelation 12 and 17. There's going to be some more on that.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
The remnant of the seed kept the testimony of Jesus Christ and kept the commandments because that's what they were taught. And that did what? It made the dragon wroth. You grieved the enemy just by doing that alone. So it's a powerful thing to teach your children. Ezekiel 16 and 44.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16 and verse 44. Behold, everyone that useth this proverb shall use this proverb against thee.
Oh, read that again.
Behold, everyone that useth proverb shall use this proverb against thee.
Come on.
Saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
Some of what the children learn is just by watching you. So that means you may be telling that child one thing, but if they see you doing something else, they're going to pick up what you're doing. Because it's just like it says, as is the mother, so is that daughter. So if the mother can be telling you all day long, listen, you want to dress modestly. You don't want to deal with multiple men. You want to wait for marriage. You want to do this. And you look up and dudes keep knocking on the door at night. And mama got on stretch pants and smoking weed. She can say that other stuff as much as she want. That daughter is going to be what she saw you doing. So that's another form of teaching your children is you got to watch the way you behave in front of them. You got to watch what you're doing in front of those children because that's the best way people learn is by watching. Like me, I learned how to swim. But I learned how to swim from watching. It wasn't like I took a class. I just saw somebody swimming. I'm like, what is he doing? Okay, how you do that? And I just did what I saw them doing, and I learned how to swim. And they picking up every little thing you do. They picking up your good habits and your bad ones. So now let's go to Sirach 30 and 9.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, or Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Conquer thy child. Pull up the definition of conquer. I want you to pull it up in the Merriam-Webster. Conquer thy child. What does that mean? All right, come on.
So these are the synonyms for conquer. Baby, coddle, cassette, dandle, indulge.
I don't know what dandle means. Go ahead.
Indulge, mollycoddle.
Mollycoddle. You know, that was Esau on that one. I don't know what that is.
Nurse, pamper, spoil.
I know that one. Spoil. I don't know none of the rest of that stuff, but spoil I know. Read that scripture again. What does conquer mean?
Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid.
Spoil your child, and he shall make you afraid. That's that spoiled child you see in the middle of the grocery store kicking. I want this! Yeah! They on the floor kicking and screaming. Yeah, that's because that child somebody conquered that child. And now they can't deal with that child. Now that child make them afraid because they like, dang, do I hit the child? Not that. Oh, what do I do? They don't even know what to do with it because this is what they had trained it up to be. Read on.
Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
So, and that comes from people play with their children like we're friends. We're not friends. Me and my kids, we are not friends. We may have friendly moments where, we can have a laugh about something, but I'm not your buddy. I'm not your friend. I'm a parent. That's it. That's what that is. I'm not here to be your buddy. Come on.
Verse 10. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth.
No, give him some liberty.
Give him no liberty.
Don't give that kid no liberty. Come on.
In his youth, and wink not as at his follies.
Don't wink at those follies. You're supposed to tear that behind up like the scriptures told you to do. Read on.
Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child.
You gotta beat him on the sides. Now listen, there's levels to everything. I mean, you don't go and you abuse the kid. You know, it's still ways of doing stuff, but you're supposed to discipline them. When you see them going off, don't wink at it. Like you see people putting pictures and images and videos on Facebook, and the kid doing something raunchy, and they laughing, ah ha ha ha, and they posting videos of it. Like, what the hell is this? No, you supposed to have been, only video you should have been posting of you beating that behind like this. See, this is what happens when you do this. Mm-hmm. And now that kid would have learned. But you look up and the kid, there's a drug dealer, there's a gang banger, the daughter that's on the pole, is because the parent was doing this. Mm-hmm. Come on. Or they wasn't doing the beating part, they was doing the cocker part.
Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn, and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. And
he will bring sorrow to your heart. Proverbs 31, and start at verse 1. So, another part of teaching your child, and this falls because the troubles of education generally fall to the women. And it's a heavy task. It's a heavy task, and we understand that. That it's a lot to train a child. Like, and it's not just teaching them certain things. Women teaching the child everything. How to walk, how to talk, how to read, how to write. I mean, everything. They learn it from their mothers. That's a heavy job. But also inside of that is a little bit more. Not just how to be, but what to be. So read this.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him.
Wait a minute. The king was taught by who?
His mother.
Come on.
Taught him.
So she has to raise him up to be what? A king. She gave him the understanding of what it takes to be a king. He learned that from his mother. Come on.
Verse 2. What, my son? And what, the son of my womb? And what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
So wait a minute. She let him know, listen, don't give your power to no woman. She's a woman. But she like, listen, I know women. Don't you let no woman have power over you.
It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
So now she's not only teaching him to be a king, she's teaching him judgment, how to judge matters. So this is a real mother right here. Mm-hmm. She's teaching her son not just to play basketball and have a bunch of women. She's like, no, I'm about to teach you how to be a ruler on this earth. Right. And that's the job that falls to a lot of our sisters, brothers. They have to support and do their part to make sure that the woman has what she needs to be able to do that. So it's a heavy task, and it's also a law. And guess what? It's a fringe on her clothes that represents that. And you need to remember it every single day. So with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.